Welcome to week 1 of Cana90. Why do we begin our journey in Cana? And why do we begin with a wedding? Well, when we turn to the scriptures, we find this story is in John chapter 2. At this point, Jesus had been baptized by John and had called some of his disciples. He'd not done any miracles yet, but he was inspiring people to follow him. Now, in the midst of calling the disciples, take a look, the verses right before this, he just called Philip. Jesus takes a break and meets up with his mother at a wedding. Now let's think about the significance of Mary's presence here. Now remember, Mary and Jesus had lived together in Nazareth for 30 years, and she knew Jesus intimately all of that time. She saw he was beginning his ministry, and it was clear that the time was quickly coming when all the world would know what she knew, that their eyes would be opened. She was going to give the fruit of her womb to the world. Who does this sound like? A woman giving fruit to another so their eyes would be opened. This is Mary, being the new Eve. Humanity's rebirth is at hand. It's a new beginning. What an incredibly exciting time for Mary. I'm sure she was filled with joy and anticipation.
So let's go back to the fact that this was at a wedding. Why did Mary think the setting of a wedding was perfect for Jesus to begin his public ministry? Well, did you know that the image of a wedding is present throughout all of Scripture? The Jewish people were pursued by God as his beloved, and he was their lover. The Psalms, Hosea, the Song of Songs, all portray the people of God as being married to the Lord. Then at the end of the Bible, the last days, the images are of the wedding feast of the Lamb. So the Blessed Mother knew all of these things. She had pondered them in her heart. She knew the imagery from the Old Testament. So when she was sitting there, knowing that Jesus was beginning to reveal himself to the world, that he had begun to call his disciples, and then she finds her son and herself at a wedding.
Right.
She must have been like, this is perfect, Jesus. Jesus, this is it. Let's go.
Your wedding, your marriage, is much more important than you realize.
Yeah.
So this week, allow God to show you how important your sacrament is to the world and to him. Your marriage is an image of God's love for his people.
That's right.
John Paul tells us, in this entire world, there is not a more perfect, more complete image of God, unity, and community. There is no other human reality which corresponds more, humanly speaking, to that divine mystery. The Holy Father also says the covenant between spouses is integrated into God's covenant with man. Authentic married love is caught up into divine love.
So this week, become more aware of the presence of Jesus and Mary in your home, in your life, and allow them to convict you of the ways in which you need their help. As you lean into your commitments that you have made, examine how they're helping you be a better spouse and be a better parent. Hopefully your commitments are making space in your heart, allowing God to speak. Create some silence this week and listen to what he is saying. And as the Blessed Mother said to the servants at the wedding feast at Cana, do whatever he tells you.
So we're going to have 90 days together, and every Sunday we'll be talking to you about the theme for the week with this video. You'll notice that below we have 2 suggestions for podcasts that you can listen to that'll help you go deeper into your vocation as a spouse and a parent. We're also going to give you a scripture passage. Like this week, it's John 2, verses 1 through 12. You'll have that each week so you can read it and meditate upon it. Last, we'll be giving you activities to do with your kids. So sometimes there's discussion questions or discussion starters because sometimes the conversation takes a different turn and you just
go with it.
Right, just go with it. But we are also going to give you some fun things to do, websites to visit, crafts to make, even simple field trips that will be fun and educational. So look for this email every week that'll keep you focused and inspired for these 90 days.
Come, let us begin again.